There are thousands of DOS games. Most of them are terrible. I play one selected at random with a 20-minute time limit and record it live. This is the result. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Random DOS Game Show. And today we have a game called Fokker, made in 1989 by Cosme. And we're starting with the prompt. You have a joystick. Kind of? I'll explain shortly. Yes. Select the graphics adapter, CGA, EGA, or black and white monitor. Well, EGA will be the most impressive of the three visually. And there we go, Fokker, created by Ron Paludan and additional artwork by Zinda Hogue. And this game also went by War Eagles, apparently. I did a little bit of research, and I ran the game for a little bit just to see if everything ran properly and the controls worked and whatnot. And apparently this game was a budget title, so it was made on a smaller budget and it was sold for less amount than your typical PC flight sim game. I don't know how much cheaper it sold for typically compared to the others, but it's just something to consider going in, that this probably won't be as maybe feature rich or whatnot as many of the other more refined and full priced at the time DOS flight simulators. But in any case, let's see what we're in for. Let's go ahead and enlist a new pilot. Select the nationality. I guess I'll go with British this time around. Pilot name. B-Mans LN. Okay. And it looks like we can fly mission looks like what we're going to go for here. It just takes us straight to an options with the difficulty and cloud cover. And you navigate between the two options with up and down, but you adjust the difficulty and cloud cover options with the left and right arrow keys. So we'll go ahead and keep it on the easiest for now. Maybe we'll throw in a little bit of clouds. That looks fine. And looks like we have 5 types of missions to choose from. So we have on patrol, escort mission, balloon busting, the hornet's nest, or single combat. So yeah, there appears to be no campaign mode, and I think these are just missions that they just throw you right into. I don't think there's much in the way, aside from that difficulty and cloud cover option. I don't think there's anything else in the way of customization or realism or whatnot. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and play. And we're in. And you're flying around. Oh, yep, and there are already German aircraft, so. And it's using PC speaker sound. These look like, ooh, I'm hit. Got him. That looks like a Fokker DR-1 triplane, made famous by the Red Baron, perhaps his most iconic plane that he flew. Although he did fly other craft. In fact, he actually scored the majority of his kills flying Albatross fighters. But okay, that other one looked like a Fokker D7. So I guess this is taking place in 1918, probably, since that's when that plane entered service. I'm currently looking around with the number keys. Mission over, no more enemy planes in area. Oh, okay, and it just automatically ended it for me. So press any key to continue. Looks like we scored 3 kills and have a score of 3. So yeah, I should probably explain what I was talking about earlier regarding the controls while I go ahead and select another mission to fly. For some reason, the joystick support for this game is kind of hit or miss. I have a Logitech 3D Pro that I normally use for these types of DOS flight sims, but for whatever reason, it didn't seem to detect it. But strangely enough, I also have a controller. It's an 8-bit DO SN30 Pro, And it's basically looks like a Super Nintendo controller with a couple of small little sticks there on the bottom. And for some reason, that seems to work just fine. So, anyway. So, it's kind of an unorthodox way of controlling the aircraft, but it gets the job done. And it's definitely better than playing with the keyboard, because I tried that, and basically you can only put in like one input key, or you can basically can only put in one key input at a time. So like you can't bank and shoot at the same time, that sort of thing. It's just pretty difficult. And I'm not gonna lie, this can be rough. As you can probably tell, the frame rate is just it just tanks whenever there's any sort of action on the screen. So, and you know, you could say, well, this is a flight sim from the 80s, so what do you expect? It's like, well, there were flight sims from the 80s that ran a lot smoother than this. I mean, the late 80s was when like Microprose's F-19 stealth fighter and F-15 Strike Eagle 2 were released and things like that. Oh wow, he just exploded there. Oh, and there's a second balloon. I didn't even see that. But like I said at the start, though, this is a budget game, so I guess you do have to keep this in mind. And I think I crashed. I think I took too many hits because I was trying to pull up, but I was kind of caught in a tailspin there. So, and as you can probably tell, it's a very simplistic looking world too. There's barely anything in the way of details. It just looks like a green ground and blue sky, and if you put clouds in there, those appear too. I wonder, does removing the clouds improve the performance? Maybe we'll go to single combat and try that out. See how smoothly that factors in. So I probably have to find my opponent, because he's probably, yep, right there. A Fokker triplane. Got him already. Alright then. Mission over. No more enemy planes in era. It does seem like this game might be running a little fast. When I started this up in Exodus, it gave me two options to play the original boxed version or a digital version, because apparently this is sold online. I don't know if it's on Good Old Games or some other storefront. I might go ahead and look that up and put it on the screen here. But it seems like the digital version runs better than the box version. The box version just, unless you manually increase the CPU cycles, it's practically a slideshow, honestly. But this seems to run better, but it might be running a little too fast. But maybe a little too fast might be better than a little too slow. I don't know. But anyway, let's try maybe one more escort mission. Whoa, I'm getting hit already. Wow. Okay. What's going on? Yep. Okay. Right there. It's another Fokker D7. So it seems like you're always outnumbered. It's always, you don't have any wingmen or anything like that. It's, I did get one of them. Whoops. I think I shot. Oh, collision. Okay. I wasn't sure if that was a thing or not, but I guess it is. Down I go. Yeah. Nothing I can do about this one. I tried to switch to an external view there at the last second. It looks like pressing F2 gives you that external view, but dies and crash. Darn it. And this is all on the easiest difficulty. It's like, maybe, I don't know, maybe just for kicks, maybe I'll try one and crank the difficulty all the way up and see how that is. Why not? It seems like even when you die, you don't have to worry about like permadeath for your pilot or anything like that. So, do I really want to do the Hornet's Nest? Let's go ahead. Oh, geez. Oh, wow. I guess it remembered the external view there from the last mission, because that's how he started. Oh, man, look at all this. I got one. Just keep holding the trigger. Oh, hey, I got two, but I think I've been shot down again. Yeah, the plane keeps barreling down to the right no matter how hard I try to turn left. So I'm going to join them. Yep. Wow. Okay. All right. Oh, well, I survived the crash landing. So that's something, I guess. Press any key to continue. So I have a score of 24 so far. So you probably earn like medals and ribbons, that sort of thing. And it's added to your uniform here. So did that say RAF, by the way? Well, I suppose if this is 1918, I guess that technically counts. But if it was any earlier, it should have been the RFC for the Royal Flying Corps, because they didn't become the RAF until 1918. But yeah, I think I'll go ahead and call it here. So that's War Eagles, or Fokker, depending on the version of the game that you play. And yes, this was quite clearly a budget title when it came out. Even by the late 80s standards, when you compare it to its competitors, it lacks so many features from those other games. And I suppose if you bought it when it was brand new when it came out in 1989, but even then, I would add the caveat that it all depends on how much you paid for it. Like, let's say you got it at, say, half price compared to its competitors. You could make the argument that this was a semi-decent budget alternative. And in all fairness, up until then, there had been precious few DOS games that had tackled World War I air combat, with probably the most high-profile example being the 2D side-scroller Sopwith. Here's the thing, though, and this was running in the back of my head the whole time while I was playing this. This game came out in 1989, but fast forward just 1 year later, and no fewer than 3 fully featured World War I combat flight simulators were released by other publishers, and all of them were better than this one. You had Blue Max, you had Microprose's Knights of the Sky, and most crucially, you had Dynamics' Red Baron, with the latter raising the bar not just for World War I combat flight sims, but combat flight sims in general, and still holds up by far the best to this day, and is still eminently playable. And faced with such quality, games like this simply just can't compare. The only thing I could see going for this is that maybe if you just want to hop into a plane and shoot at some targets for 10 to 15 minutes before you get bored, then yeah, this game probably has you covered with that. But anyone looking for anything even slightly more substantial than that, you'll find much better options when it comes to World War I flight games for DOS. And if you like flight sims of the World War I variety, then there's bound to be more eventually on this series. So far, this is the first one, and there's more besides the ones I mentioned in this video even. And if you like what you see here, consider subscribing. But that's it for now. Time to go request leave for some well-needed R&R. And until next time, take care, everyone.